Valorant's been around for a while now, but the game still only has 8 maps. Pearl, the latest one, was released along with the 5.0 update. The developers are finally addressing its issues in light of player feedback over the past few months. Patch 5.06 aims to tighten things up and improve the map. We'll be covering that and more in today's video. Firstly, smoothing out Pearl. Valorant was released with 4 maps back in 2020, but has since been updated to include another 4, along with its training range. The last map release came with the version 5.0 update back in June of this year, and it was a departure from the last 3 maps that were released after launch. While Icebox, Breeze, and Fracture were considered complex in terms of their layout, Pearl was designed to have a more traditional layout with 2 spike sites and 3 lanes, similar to how other competitive games have designed their maps. However, though most players felt satisfied with the overall design of the map, over the 3 months since its release, the developers felt like it could be refined. Community lead Jeff Landa said that the map was getting an update of small adjustments in order to reduce some awkward complexities, as well as to make it easier for both attackers and defenders to move through certain areas. That essentially amounts to decluttering areas that had a bit too much going on for players' liking, so that the map feels more competitive and fair. That's particularly important because Pearl actually replaced a fan favorite map in Split when it was released. Split was in Valorant at the moment of release, so many players are attached to it. Makes sense that the folks over at Valorant HQ are looking to make the best version of this new underwater arena. Next, changes in mid and B main. We've mentioned that Pearl is a traditional 3-lane map, without any of the gimmicks you're likely to find on the other Valorant maps like teleporters, ropes, and moving doors. However, though its layout is simple enough, there are still some design choices that the developers clearly thought were too awkward, and that's likely due to player feedback. That's changing thanks to patch 5.06. One thing that was often an issue with the map was the twisting pathways in the middle portion, with tall boxes at many spots that were great places for enemies to hide behind. That made entering the area for a single person a difficult task, with too many angles to clear and not enough time to do so. Thanks to the new update, those hiding spots are almost entirely gone, so lurking is less of an issue. Another change, which is one of the biggest on the map, was an adjustment at B main, or the primary entrance used by attackers. At the entrance was a half wall at Cubby, which allowed certain agents like Chamber to go completely undetected by crouching behind it. That meant extra time was spent clearing that angle while being exposed to enemies on the site. Now that half wall has been lowered, so enemies are at least partially visible by attackers no matter which agent they are, making entering the site from B main much more comfortable. Now for attacking in mid. Being on the attacking side and having to play mid at Pearl wasn't an easy job. Many would have gravitated towards the other 2 lanes before considering a mid push. That wasn't just because of the boxes, which, as we've already mentioned, have been removed to reduce lurkers, but also because of other layout choices in mid shops and mid top. Those 2 areas have also thankfully been tweaked a bit to make things more appealing for attackers. While mid shops previously had a stack of boxes obstructing movement, they've been replaced by an extended platform, which Landa says will make it easier to push the area. Apart from that, the team clearly didn't want a passive incentive to push mid. They wanted to force the attacking side to make more adventurous plays. That's apparent from the other changes at shops at the football store. The football store now has a bush beside it in order to prevent attackers from hiding there. This makes it easier for players to push into mid shops from mid plaza. But the changes in mid aren't just focused on making things better for attackers. They've also made changes at mid top so that the defenders have a better time too. Before the update, there was a 50-50 angle wall where opponents could hide on either side. Now that wall has been pushed inward so the attackers can only come from the left, making it easier for the defense to challenge mid. Moreover, what else is different? Though the changes at mid and B main are definitely some of the most important changes on the map, there are a few others that are bound to make things a lot more interesting and faster paced. For instance, the space at A-Art was cleaned and opened up a bit so that it's more navigable. Players will likely rejoice at the removal of the double stack of wooden boxes that was just another terrible angle to clear for attackers. B-Link has also gotten an interesting adjustment, with a box near mid-door changed into a shorter stack of boxes, reducing the amount of coverage given to attackers. This makes it easier for defenders to rotate through B-Link from mid-connector, as they don't need to be concerned with lurkers behind that big box. That area has another significant change, though one that isn't immediately understandable. The double-stack boxes at the B-Link bottom have been shifted from the left to the right. That's to reduce the number of angles needing checking when entering B-Link. The last few few changes were those made to A main. The small cutout on the wall was removed to make it easier for defenders to make offensive plays into the area. It's one less area to check when pushing forward. On top of that, the staircase to A site is narrower, so smoking that area is easier for defenders. Other news. First up, GE Bleed partnership talks fail. Global Esports and Bleed Esports, two organizations that were previously in talks to partner up in the International Valorant League, have been forced to halt their strategic deal. The deal was supposedly valued at around $6 million. Riot Games, the developers of Valorant and the hosts of the league, told the two organizations about certain league restrictions, which led to the deal falling through. The developers stated that it was imposing tight regulations that would restrict partnerships with outside competing organizations, and that they would have the final say on which of these go through. When contacted by Dexerto, the founder of Global Esports, Rushindra Sinha, said that he couldn't talk about any ongoing deals, but did remark that there were some interesting discussions taking place. Without the partnership, Bleed will likely have to fight their way to the International League through the Ascension Tournament. Next, Navi securing Masters winning team. If you know the professional Counter-Strike, you know of Natus Vincherry or Navi. The Ukrainian organization is behind one of the most successful teams in the game, and now they're looking to secure a winning team for Valorant. Sources told Esports that Navi is in advanced discussions with the Valorant team FunPlus Phoenix to secure its roster of players. FunPlus Phoenix, or FPX, is known to be one of the best Valorant teams yet, and was the winning team at this year's VCT Masters tournament in Copenhagen. They took down Paper Rex in the final to secure the win. However, when it came to the game's most anticipated tournament, the champions, they failed to pass through the third round of the lower bracket. The players have yet to sign on with Navi, but there's a problem. Star player Artis Varenieks, or Artis as he's known in game, may not join with the rest of the team and his coach. It's expected that he'll be considering his options elsewhere in the meantime, though Navi is hopeful that the team will remain intact. Lastly, yay on the potential Optic split. Following Optic's failure to secure partnerships for Valorant for the coming year, team member Jacob Whitaker, aka Ye, has spoken out about what's next for the team's players. It seems as though the team will have to split up, and Optic won't be in the running for VCT 2023. Ye spoke on the Richard Lewis show last week, saying that the team members were in talks with various people for placement in new teams. That's because the team just doesn't have the money to continue competing together, despite being one of the most successful in the competitive sphere. That's a wrap for this video. Do you think the changes to Pearl were warranted? Let us know in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. See you in the next one.